Welcome back to a very windy Port Elizabeth. It was a bit strange this morning when we could stand outside and not be blown about by the wind. Well, she didn't let us down. The wind came, and there you can see that tree blowing frantically there. But it still is, nonetheless, a beautiful day here in the Eastern Cape. One of the major problems facing African women is, of course, poverty. It doesn't matter, of course, wherever you are in the world. I think that is one of the issues that women face, unfortunately. Alleviation projects have been high on the agenda when it comes to trying to find ways to try and better the situation and the lives of women around the world, especially for a province like the Eastern Cape as well, that really is largely rural. One of the international speakers here has got a project that has done an unbelievable job in India, and he's come here to South Africa to talk about this project. His name is Liby Johnson. He's been involved for over 2 decades in these projects that relate to poverty alleviation. It's called the Kudumbashree Mission. It's one of the world's best practice anti-poverty strategies that is receiving attention due to its innovative approach. Now, I'm going to welcome you, Liby. Thank you very much for being with us. It's absolutely wonderful having you here in South Africa and as a guest on the program.
It's a pleasure.
All right, so Kudumbashree. Firstly, what does it mean?
Kudumbashree literally translates to prosperity of the family.
Okay.
And the program is basically about women from the family becoming the anchor and the catalyst for taking the family out of poverty into, better days.
Yeah. Now, how does this particular project work?
So what happens is at the village level, at the habitation level where people live, there are groups of 10 to 15 women who come together on a regular basis. They start with saving small amounts of money, and then they pool that money to lend to each other to meet very, very basic needs, like paying for daughter's education or paying for a medical bill. And slowly, as they build up their corpus, this money of their own, they go to a bank. Then the bank at that time lends to them and provides them a larger capital base. So this slowly grows into a small financial institution for this 20 or 15 families. They're able to pool from this money to meet their needs in terms of whether it is into a productive business or for an immediate consumption need at home.
Yeah.
So that is how it starts. And what we have done in Kerala, in the southern province of India, is to build these into an institutional structure. So in a ward, as you would have where you elect a councillor, all the women, all the groups in that ward is federated, and then at the local government level, similar to your municipality here, all the groups there are federated into an institution that is registered legally. So this institution provides a platform for all the women in that local government area to represent to the government, to the bank, to the market. And this institution also provides a platform for, say, a range of economic activities. So, you produce small things. Instead of an individual producer having to sell it herself, this institution provides for the branding to be done, the product to be marketed. So this is the institutional framework that Kudumbashree has provided women in Kerala.
How long has it been around for?
It's been there now for 16 years.
Okay.
And initial 3-4 years were the building phase where it was built up. And over the past decade or so, Kudumbashree has made tremendous forays into both economic and social development for its women. And today, Kudumbashree represents half the population of Kerala. We have a population of about 88 million families, of which 4.1 million families are members of Kudumbashree.
That's amazing. So it really is. It's almost like, in a way, where you were saying to me, it's like borrowing from your friends. You're borrowing from your friends, you're paying them back, but it's an institution.
Yes.
That you are borrowing this money, you're lending, you're doing, but it's a constant moving. And but what are the rates like? I mean, if you're going and then you're borrowing, I suppose you do pay at a premium or not really?
Yes, most groups, when they lend within themselves, charge each other higher than what they would get from the formal bank.
Okay.
But it's because the money is theirs. So the interest that comes in only adds to their corpus. It's not going out to anybody. So they're happy about that. But when they borrow from a bank, say at 12% per annum, they would lend to each other at that 12% itself.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is informal, but it's institutionalized informality.
Yeah, but when you talk about informal, how safe is it?
It is, because see, it's you and me sitting together, pooling our money, and there's no third person involved. So we are responsible for our money, and we collectively do that.
Yeah.
And for the bank, what makes it more interesting is the fact that you and I are responsible for our money. And if we default to the bank, we default together. It's not either the individual, or either Leanne or Liby Johnson who is defaulting. It is this collective that is defaulting.
Yeah.
So therefore, you will always put pressure on me not to default, just the way I would put on you not to default, because it's our collective credibility at stake.
Yeah. I mean, you've already got things like that working in the smaller communities. I mean, it's almost like a stokvel in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yes.
I don't know if you understand or
yes,
you've explained
yes.
what a stokvel is, but it's very similar to that, but on a larger scale.
Yes, a larger scale, more organized.
Yes.
And we've applied what we call the principles of subsidiarity.
Yeah.
What an individual can do, the individual should do. Where you need 100 people to do something, provide for the space for those 100 people to come together to do that.
Yeah, interesting. Libby, thank you. Thanks very much for talking to us here on the program. Liby Johnson is the Chief Operating Officer of Kudumbashree National Resource Organization of the Government of India. Very, very interesting. I suppose if you have to South Africanize it, it's just much bigger, much well organized, much better organized stokvel. That's really what it is. But I suppose maybe, again, another idea that could work here for the women of South Africa. All right, let's go back to the Johannesburg studio.